All right, welcome back. Harmless Dave here. A lot of harm going on in the world right now, though, as I try to make sense of it all, talking about the media and Putin and this crazy poll from Reuters. Holy crap, that man. I've got to read this poll, and then I'm going to break it down and try to make sense of the insanity here. Keep in mind, I believe there's somebody at Reuters, like high up in the company, who also either worked for Pfizer or still works for Pfizer. I don't even know how that works, like board of trustees kind of stuff. But hey, and people talk about Russian oligarchs, right? You've got oligarchs running the media. So anyway, this is from Reuters, a broad bipartisan majority of Americans think the United States should stop buying Russian oil and gas as well, and work with NATO to set up no-fly zones to protect the Ukraine from Russian airstrikes, according to a Reuters poll completed on Friday. So here comes Reuters. Here comes Reuters influencing the conversation. They took a poll. Now, by the way, I think their poll might be accurate, because if you turn on MSNBC, you turn on Fox News, you turn on CNN, you turn on any of the alphabet soup television networks, you're going to find pretty much unanimous consent on this. Just crazy. And everybody, you walk down the street and people got their Ukrainian flags and so forth, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, now let's put aside what Putin is doing, because I've said on this channel that what he's doing is wrong. And it's okay. And I said yesterday in a video, it's very wrong, and he should stop. That would be best if he became the bigger person and just stopped. Right. But there would be, hey, Putin wimped out. Putin thought he was tough, and then he wimped out. I can just imagine what the media will do. And those things, I think, will further enrage the entire Russian population and Putin and the people around him, who, for 8 years, were trying to tell people, hey, there's a problem with this conflict here, that we signed a treaty. And you know who's doing a great job covering sort of the nuts and bolts and the details of this? Max Blumenthal, along with Jimmy Dore, they uploaded some, and it's hard to find content, but they've been breaking this down in a way that just about everybody can understand. This isn't as complicated as it seems. Here's the problem with the American public. You got like rock stars like Stevie Nicks writing poems to Vladimir Putin about how he should turn to dust, right? Cover that on my other channel, just putting it in here. Maybe you'll check that channel out too. The point being is that they have a very sort of surface level view, just kind of scratching the surface of what's happening. They think Putin, super bad guy. Why is he doing this? Please stop it. And people, obviously, we heard Lindsey Graham said, hey, let's just take him out. I think that's an extension of go get him. I'm just saying, I don't know. I mean, that's what maybe, like I said, Biden says, go get him. And Lindsey Graham says, okay, let's go get him. All right. This poll, by the way, was conducted Thursday and Friday, suggests that U.S. outrage is growing over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, keep in mind, we have been bombarded for the last 2 years, carpet bombed, if you will, with propaganda about a virus for 2 years. And now, during the State of the Union, we just switched off that and we switched on Russia again. Okay, for you. And this is, and a lot of, by the way, a lot of Trump people think, hey, this is, to me, it's crazy. All the Trump people, or a good majority of them, are for the no-fly zone. Do people understand that this is World War III? This isn't hyperbole. This is World War III. It's just, how do we contain it? How do we control it? Or do we add gasoline to that fire? I'll tell you what, having NATO. Now, who's going to fly? Who's going to fly who's going to do the defense on the no-fly zone? Which country is going to do it? Guarantee you, the United States is going to be first in line to do that, followed by like the UK, and there might be some other quote unquote allies. Israel, of course, will be in on this. So all of these countries start a proxy war with Russia, and Russia responds. And at that point, what are you going to say? Are you going to sit there and go, well, Russia shouldn't respond to this? They should just have their jets shot down. See, this is what happens in war. War is hell. War sucks. You should do everything in your power to avoid war. You should have listened to Putin when he was talking about how this Donbass region was getting shelled and 14,000 people died over the course of 8 years. Again, watch these videos with Jimmy Dore and Max Blumenthal, and Aaron Mate. You'll learn. And again, I'm not aligned with those guys politically on all the issues. But again, you've got progressive libertarians and conservative libertarians. That's the way I look at it. And the libertarian part is what's standing out right now. People understand that this foreign policy continues to get us into trouble. This one world alliance of countries like NATO and the EU and all these different configurations. Republicans used to hate that stuff, by the way. They used to hate this whole idea of a new world order until, was it George H.W. Bush presented it? And they were like, oh, I guess that's a good idea, right? And here we are with a new world order. A country like Russia doesn't want to play with this, doesn't want to get involved with this. And, you have missiles pointed at the country, and you're basically trying to surround the country and co-opt the Ukraine, which again is a very corrupt country. And it's corrupt for a reason because, again, there are a lot of nefarious, different outside forces that come into that country and basically either run it or they dictate policy to it. So everything is kind of by proxy there. And this puppet, Zelensky, who was a comedian and used to play the piano with a certain part of his anatomy, which people are starting to realize, that is this the guy we're gonna is this the guy we're gonna go to the wall for? We're gonna go to World War III for that guy? No wonder Hunter Biden liked it there, right? I mean, he and Zelensky must have been buddies. I mean, this just all kind of makes sense to me. But here's the deal. Again, I'm not saying Putin is a good actor in this. I'm saying that we could have negotiated, we could have used diplomacy, we could have listened to what he was saying. And the difference, though, between Putin and a lot of other people is Putin sees ethnic minorities in that country, which are Russian, right? Which are pure Russians in the eastern provinces of the country. And he's actually going to go to bat for them. And it's horrible that he's gone to this length. I wasn't sure how much of that country he was going to try to overtake. It appears that he's trying to take the whole thing over. And that's really, really bad because, again, Putin is trying to operate in the old world where people would say, okay, enough, we got to get the bombing stopped, and we got to figure out a way. We got to listen to what they're saying. They're obviously really mad. And when people say mad now, they just think Putin's insane. He's insane. So yes, we're all for, because we believe that NATO can easily contain Russia. Russia said, and when they say something and people don't listen, typically there are consequences. Russia said that their nuclear weapons were on standby. And what did the West do? Oh, well, I can't believe he said that. We still need to set up a no-fly zone. Okay. All right. So the rest of this poll is really disturbing, and I want to get to it. So 74% of Americans, let me say that again, 74% of Americans, including solid majorities of Republicans and Democrats, said the United States and its allies in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, otherwise known as NATO, should impose a no-fly zone in Ukraine, the poll found, according to Reuters. Okay, so Reuters feeding this poll, right, or creating this poll, and then feeding this as a headline, and then they're going to say something else, which again, they're trying to ratchet pressure. So here's an oligarch who works both as a quote unquote journalist and, or I'm saying he works in these fields and creates his own narratives, right? And also works for Pfizer. So this is somebody who is a professional at this point, working with other people to create incredible amounts of fear. And hey, maybe the virus thing was just a dry run to see how quickly people would walk in lockstep. And here we go again. Now, for those of us who opposed what happened the last 2 years, but think that the same people presenting this information about this other very important problem and issue, all right, we now trust those people, but we didn't trust them for 2 years. You're a hypocrite. I'm just putting it out there. Whether you agree with Putin or not, you're not, this is not informed consent. Like I said, during that period of time when you didn't have all the information. And again, this isn't about Putin. This is, are you crazy? You really want to start a nuclear war with Vladimir Putin? Get a grip, get a hold of yourself. If there was ever a time for diplomacy, people, it is now. Your way of life, the very meaning of life will change in the blink of an eye if this is allowed to continue. And I just can't imagine people saying, you know what, let's just throw caution to the wind. Let's just, yeah, why don't we try tracking down some of those Russian planes and keeping them out of Ukraine airspace? Okay, sure. And at that point, again, you don't think Putin isn't going to call your bluff if you do that. He will most certainly. He is proving that he's willing to do this stuff that he's doing now, which again, I never thought he would do this, but okay, I'm just guessing, but he has lost his patience. Maybe he has lost his mind, but there were a set of circumstances that led to that point. I mean, he was quiet under Trump. He was quiet under Obama, kind of. He was, you know, I think he got irritated because some of this stuff happened under Obama, where treaties were signed and people were supposed to live side by side in peace. But one group of people in the East were getting shelled every day, schools, hospitals, residences, just getting shelled because, you know, they're identifying with the Russians, right? And you can't do that. And Ukraine is a very corrupt country. Look at the connections too. You got the Hunter Biden thing. You got the big guy getting the payoffs. And so I think that would look really suspicious if Biden came out and said, yeah, we'll do whatever it takes to stop Russia. And you're poking a bear. This is pouring gasoline on a lit fire. It's currently lit. How do we put the fire out? Do we pour more gasoline on it? According to 74% of Americans, that's what we should do. And get this, 80% of Americans said the United States should stop buying Russian oil. Now, we are already in an energy crisis in this country. Let's just put it out there. All right. I know they've devalued the dollar and gas prices were bound to go up, but not this much. Gas has more than doubled. In some places, it's tripled. And now you've got people saying, yes, let's stop buying their oil. Let's, cancel their conductors if they work for the Munich Orchestra or whatever. Let's just get rid of everything that's Russia. Let's pour vodka down the drain. I don't know, some of us, I'm a big fan of vodka. Some of us should kind of think about this and, hey, if you want to donate my vodka, or your vodka to me, I think more and more people are going to need it if this continues. I mean, if you're going to go down, you might as well go down, feeling no pain, I guess. 81% of Americans think Washington should impose additional sanctions on Russia, up from 77% in a Reuters poll conducted Monday and Tuesday. Support for more sanctions was also bipartisan. Great. Hey, all you Trumpers that were so anti, Fauci and all of that situation, you guys have just, I don't know, you've joined. And I don't, look, Ronald Reagan has been dead for a long time, right? Trying to kind of echo what Reagan said and did. And Reagan, remember, didn't fire a shot, right? He didn't fire any shots. He negotiated, and he was negotiating with the Soviet Union, all right, which was supposedly much worse than the Russia of today. I'm sure it was. And I don't understand why there's just this, people don't even understand how corrupt Ukraine. I know Russia has corruption. So does the United States. This is the what about Russia? What about the United States? So yeah, Russia has some corruption for sure. The oligarchs in Russia are corrupt, but so are the ones like Jeff Bezos and all these other people that are in the United States. I mean, this guy who works for Reuters and Pfizer at the same time, and I run Pfizer, but I'm also, chief, editor for Reuters or something. It's just the stuff where these people are in bed with each other. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, nepotism, whatever you want to call it, it's insane. 77% of respondents said the United States should seize assets of Russian oligarchs associated with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And here it is. Here comes the gaslighting. Pressure is growing on Biden to ramp up economic pressure on Russia by targeting its massive exports of oil and gas. Some Western leaders worry such an approach could trigger a global energy crunch and possibly escalate the conflict. Unreal. Get this, 62% of respondents said paying more for fuel and gas because of the crisis was worthwhile to defend another democratic country. Wow, these people are on crack at this point. It's just like, 62% say they like paying more gas, higher gas prices to support this war and to stop Putin. So when you fill up, and it used to cost you 20, it costs you 50. Now you're like, hey, this is great because we're fighting Putin. This gas, paying more for gas. Meanwhile, again, what happened to America first for all you Trumpians and all these other people? That's not America first. How is this America first? How is this going to help America? All right. Well, you don't understand. This is a bigger problem and Putin needs to be stopped because we've been taught now for at least a few weeks, a few years since Russia hoax, Russia collusion, Russia. I mean, we've been taught to hate Russia. And now, Trump better get on board too. And I'm sure he will. I'm sure all Trump's going to say is he was contained. We had a good relationship, blah, blah, blah. All right. But now he's not contained and now you're not in the White House. So what do you think about this? Do you think we should, escalate this into nuclear war? Because 74% of Americans want nuclear war. Do they know that will be the outcome? I don't know. I think a lot of them are really stupid, thinking, oh, we'll just fly some airplanes. We'll fly some drones over there. That's what we'll do. We'll surround the Russian fighter jets with drones, right? And that's gonna stop them, sure. Needless to say, Russia has also, land missiles, land to air, launch pads all over, and they don't have to be in the quote unquote no-fly zone. But I guarantee you, if you escalate this and you go in there, they're not only gonna shoot these other planes down, but their surface to air stuff is very sophisticated, and it will create chaos that I don't know if the world can recover from. They always said if World War III happens, that could be the war to end all wars. And 74% of Americans want to start the war that will end all wars. So what do you do, right? I'm going to conclude by this. What do? You don't do anything. You let Putin do what he's doing. You don't sanction the crap out of him. You don't create economic terrorism on the Russian people. Again, you may hate the Russian oligarchs or Putin or whatever, whoever you hate, but now you're dealing with a population who they're not setting these policies. They're not doing what Putin is doing. They're part of a country, and we never look at these countries this way. We just look at, okay, we need to attack these people. You know, just like when we did the stuff to Iran and Iraq, and all of those people are not bad in those countries, but we created this persona and this caricature, and we basically broad brushed everybody as horrible human beings. And, you know, I hear people paying lip service and saying, oh, I know there are a few good Muslims out there and we just have to live peace. No, there are a lot of good Muslims, and there's a very small minority that carry a kind of sick and twisted ideology. And some would even say those people were pushed into that because of all the warmongering this country and other countries, and these NATO countries apparently do all the time, and they isolate these countries. Look, yeah, I would say different ideologies have, you know, different results as far as, you know, how people just live in this world. And I understand that you would probably not want to be of this ideology, but how about mind your own business, right? How about you say, you know, I don't know about those people, but I think we should just leave them alone, right? And I think that would be a better strategy. Now, it's one thing if they attack you, and a lot of people are saying Russia attacked Ukraine and there was no provocation. Russia says there was provocation because this treaty for 8 years has been broken, and the West won't talk about that treaty. Even though the West was there to negotiate it, they won't talk about it. So at the very end of it all, this proves that the American people can go from one narrative about a virus and switch instantly to another narrative about a virus. This time it's a nuclear virus that could destroy the whole planet. That is, if we do the wrong thing and continue to provoke and poke this bear. It's just the dumbest thing. In my lifetime, I've never seen people so hell-bent on their own personal destruction. All right, that's my video. Thanks for watching. Please support this channel via Patreon. You can click on the link and you can donate like $1 a month, $2 a month, whatever you see fit. It really helps me grow this platform and the other channel I have as well. And I will see you soon.